Hey there, if you struggle making professional melodies, it doesn't matter if it's hip hop, afrobeats, trap, dancehall, or piano. I want to show you the 3 key steps that you need to learn and master so that you get crazy melodies every time. So if you're new, hit the subscribe button down below and let's get started. So the first thing you need to learn and understand is how to play chords, okay? Now, a lot of people don't know how to play chords properly. They just go off vibes and, try to see what sticks. Now, there are some simple ways you can play chords, and I'll show you 2 easy ways for you to play great chord progressions, okay? First of all, just come to this snap to scale icon, right click, and just pick a key and a scale, okay? So let's say I go with minor natural, okay? And then maybe I want to work on F. Now, you don't need to know how to play the piano to achieve this. It's real easy. So just stick to these light gray lines, okay? Light gray lines, and then just stamp. Typically you want your chords to be on the 4th or 5th octave, okay? Most of the time the 4th octaves are the alphabets or the keys that has 4 on them, and then the 5th are the ones that have 5 on them. Then just stamp it somewhere. For example, could stretch it for like a bar, okay? And then you just do the simple 1 3 5. So wherever you click will be on number 1, number 2, number 3. You're only counting the light gray lines, number 4, number 5, okay? And then we have a simple chord. Now, a chord progression is just you having multiple chords playing in sequence, okay? So I could have maybe just a simple 2 chord progression. And once you activate this icon, I could hold shift and up and it snaps to scale. If you don't like that, you keep moving. Then I could just duplicate this. If I want to make it to a 4 chord, I could just highlight this, then I could bring this down. Now see, easy as that, I have a great chord progression. Now once you have a good triad system, now you can add your extended chords, that is your 7th, your 9th, all of that good stuff. Or you could just do some inversions. So 7th and 9th, I could just come, this is 5, 6, 7. It gives more of that R&B emotional feel. Now this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You hear the difference, right, in emotion. That is 7. Let me try 9 here. I think I'll prefer. Now, if maybe you don't like how 7 or 9 sound, you can simply just swap it out for an inversion. So that means I could use any of these notes and just place it on a higher octave. So, for example, I could have this. Then I could come here, 5, 6, 7. Now, sometimes this depends on you. You may not want this much emotions in your chords, and that's fine. But this is one of the easiest ways you can make a chord sound more expressive, okay? Sometimes the regular triad works just fine, but what's most important is that make sure your triads sound good on their own, okay? You shouldn't have to depend on an extension before you start liking how your triads sound. Your triads should already sound really good before you think of adding extensions or doing inversions, okay? So now this is one of the easiest ways to create chords, okay? When you have this rhythm right here, the next easiest way to create chords is simply by using a MIDI chord pack, okay? Like for example, our MIDI chord pack, we have well over 100 chords in the mega MIDI bundle. You can see all contains about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 packs, and each of these packs has at least 15 to 20 chords in them. So you have over 100 chords to mess with. So if I come to, let's say, the platinum, for example, I could just drag. And the reason why I like MIDI chord packs is that they are all on C major or A minor, which is most convenient for most people. But you can invert them and transpose them. For example, if I drag and drop this, let me turn off the snap to scale here first. If I drag and drop this and I turn this off, You can hear that a very interesting chord progression. So you don't have to waste time, thinking of chords to play, especially if you don't have ideas for chords right now. This can be your inspiration. I could also drag another one in here. Easily, right? So easily we've gotten another interesting chord progression. The reason why I also like this is that, again, like I said, this is on C major or A minor. So if I come right here to A minor, right, see all the light gray lines snap to them, and I could easily do an inversion, or for example, if I want to do an inversion, I could highlight this and move it up or down, right? Or if I want to just change the key, I could just highlight everything and transpose. Okay, so this is currently on A minor, so, or C major. C major and A minor, they are relative, so it's basically the same. Okay, so I could take this now and it's now in B minor. So you don't have to worry about the chords sounding like somebody else's work, because again, chords are universal. What matters is getting a chord that you like and working with it. Because once you have a great chord progression, it becomes a whole lot easier to create great melodies. Think of it like the foundation, of a home, right? Once you have a great foundation, right, you can build a really good house on it, right? But if your foundation is not great, no matter how good you try to build on it, it's going to just come crashing down eventually, right? So you have to make sure your chords are great, because it's the foundation for all your melodies. Literally, for all your melodies, your chords are the foundation. Okay, so you could either play the chords manually like I showed you, or if you want it faster, you can use the MIDI chord pack. If you want the MIDI chord pack, it's very affordable. The link is in the description, or you can visit our website and get it, the Mega MIDI Bundle chord pack. Okay, so now this is the first thing you need to know to create great melodies: chord progression. This is super important. That's why it's coming first. Okay, now the next most important thing when creating melodies is sound selection. Now many people overlook sound selection because they think because they have so many plugins, they could just pick whatever and move with it. No, the sound you pick actually affects the vibe of your production. I'm going to show you how shortly. Okay, so when you're picking sounds, there are a few tips you need to follow. One, try to make sure that each sound you pick is complementary, but they do not sound too similar, because when they sound too similar, it's going to just wash into the others and you won't hear it easily. Okay, and you end up seeing yourself adding a lot of unnecessary layers, which eventually will make your mix sound muddy. So the more different your sound selections are, right, the more open your melodies feel, the more interesting they feel, and the more they blend together faster, and you have a full production without having too many sounds layered. Okay, so but it's also important you pick sounds that you like. Okay, pick sounds that you like, but focus on making sure that they all sound different. Okay, because sometimes throwing a weird sound, right, throwing a wild card to see what sticks. That's why I do sometimes. And that's when I have a good thing going on, I just throwing a weird sound in there. Sometimes that may even be like the highlight of my production. So let me show you how to pick really good sounds. Okay, so I'm going to come to this. Doesn't matter the plugin you use. Okay, so I'm going to use Analog Lab, for example. All right, I have this. I'm going to click this right here, keys. Then I'm going to come to styles, and I'm going to come to softs. Okay, so sometimes you can, depending on your genre of music, you can play with, maybe you want a punchy sound or a clean sound, or an acid or atmospheric sound, but I just want a soft sound for now. Okay, so I'm going to come right here, just click soft, then show results. So I'm going to come here. I like the sound. So let's see. Now remember I said that you need to pick sounds that do not blend, right? Like, should it sound like it's too similar to any of your existing sounds. So if I come here, you see when I check that sound, you can hear that it's the same key, the same notes, right? But they sound quite different. Okay, so I'm going to come right here. Let me change my scale back to F minor. Okay, so I'm going to come now. Let me play a simple melody. Okay. Now you can hear that the melody stands out, right? It's not blending in. So let me bring in a sound that literally blends in, and so you hear how it sounds. I'm going to come right here. All right, so let's go with this. And then when I copy and paste, hear how it sounds. You can hear that it's not as dynamic as, this other guy right here. So that's one thing you have to also take note of, okay? The sound selection does matter. So when you follow the guides I've given you on how to pick sounds, whether you're trying to play your lead melody, your counter melody, or even bass, make sure that they all sound different so that when they come together, it sounds full and more interesting. Now, the third thing you need to know if you're trying to make great melodies is rhythm. Now, rhythm does not only apply to drums, you can also use rhythm in your melodies. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to come back to the chords. Now, these chords are fine. By the way, you can use this for not only your chords, you can use this for your lead melody, your counter, your bass, anything really. So the thing with sounds is, right, when you have your melodies hitting consistently on the grid, right, like on the main grid, it will sound robotic at some point. So you want to try and throw it like off grid a little bit so that, it sounds more interesting. For example, I could just cut this chord up. You hear the way it gave it that bounce, right? And then if I come right here again, come here. Now you have to be careful when you're messing with rhythm, not only for your chords or for other melodies, because if you overdo it, your beats will sound too noisy and too messy, okay? You want to try and get that balance between, enough for it to feel like there's a groove going on, but not too much that is clashing with other elements or instruments in your production. So if we hear the chords now, it could be as simple as that. So let's hear it with the drums and see how it sounds like. By the way, you can get these drum loops and many more Afrobeat drum loops from the Control Groove drum kit. You can get it. The link will be in the description, or you can visit our website, sctutorial.com, and you see this drum loop and many more drum loop. They're all in the Control Groove drum loop kit. Let's adjust the velocity. Let's make it a little bit softer, okay? Option X or alternate X. X like X-ray, okay? Then if I turn on the melody, if you understand what I just showed you today, trust me, you're going to be making bangers consistently. You won't have to worry about a gimmick or a strategy that, confuses your brain. All you have to do is just master these three things I've told you. Again, create good chord progression, use really good sound selection that are different, that does not easily, clash or blend with each other, okay, but they are complementary. And then use rhythm. It could be in your chord, it could be in your melodies. Like for example, my melodies right here, you can see they are not directly on the main grid. If I move it to the main grid, it may sound good, it may not sound good, but most times when you have a lot of sounds, like when you have a full production and most of them are on the main grid, it may start sounding boring. So I'm like, you can hear that one has more rhythm than the other, okay? So that's why we prioritize rhythm when making music. Whether you're making Afrobeats, hip hop, trap, drill, rhythm is very important, and it's not only for drums. So if you find this helpful and you'd like to learn more, we also offer an in-depth course that will teach you from the beginning how to make really good drums, how to make really good melodies, how to arrange, and how to balance your beats so you get professional sounding beats. And you also get a certification course when you complete the examination for each course. If you want to sign up for our courses, they're affordable. The link is in the description and to also be attached to this video. I remain so classy. If you found this helpful, like and subscribe for more tutorials, tips, and tricks. Cheers.